are very excited that we are moving forward. Education sector, science and technology development is that we present a business opportunity, and the President and Cabinet has authorized us to go into JVs, PPPs, whatever you might call them, to develop the higher and tertiary education sector. Give business opportunity to those who have the means to provide a service based on a commercial and business case. It has never happened in the history of this country, whether during the colonial period or post-colonial period. This is the first time that the private sector is being allowed to participate in the business of higher and tertiary education. It's the most welcome. So we take ourselves, you and us, as pioneers of this movement. And we believe that it can only make the world a better place. That's what we work for, to make this world a better place. But the world runs on commerce. So we shall adopt a commercial route. All what we are doing, all the agreements that we are entering in terms of infrastructure, development and everything, we have the blessing of cabinet. All our state universities cannot move without that go-ahead. So we were given that go-ahead and we are proceeding. It basically means ultimately, yes, you can have an agreement which says University of Zimbabwe, but ultimately the buck stops with government. If there is anything that goes grossly wrong, we take responsibility and we fix it. So I think that's the most important thing to know, that you are dealing with our elements, but the system is well oiled and set for it. It's a decision that we have taken and we are moving forward. So you are dealing, at the end of the day, you might be dealing with the University of Zimbabwe, but you are basically dealing with the sovereign state. So we have decided to do it. It's through NAST, but NAST is our entity. So I hope this kind of talk gives you comfort that it's not a wild goose, something going around in the forest. We are all behind it and we are backing it. The other one is just process. But otherwise, we are for this and we are looking forward that all the agreements that we are going to enter, you must have the comfort. They are well guaranteed. We have decided that we will encourage private capital and we will protect it. We will protect private enterprise because what we want is to have good, well-educated people at the end. Sometimes we have been obsessed about owning buildings. Why do I have to own the building? You know, we are having these PSIP projects, like for example at NAST, there have been cranes that have been there since 1999. Why were we not trying to do it this way? Why did we want to build the buildings ourselves? Does it make a difference on whether this building was built by Stratfin or somebody else when the student is learning? What we want is good learning infrastructure for students. It's good for business as well, because once we have got very well trained students, business also does well. It basically means that you have a skilled human resource base, and it's a feedback mechanism. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So that these are the things that we are really looking at, and we are really excited. I know today we have Stratfin, we have Royale, we have Bank IBC, we have DevTech, we have Fundi, we have Liquid Telecom, we have Southwest, and what? 6. There are 7. So today we have 7. which means this is the pioneer group. We are still processing a lot. It's a huge business opportunity, just like I said. There is no single company that can claim to finish the business opportunity that is there. Because remember, we have got Marondera University, which has 2 campuses. We have not even constructed the first building. We have Gwanda State University, which has got 2 campuses. One in Gwanda Town, one at Airport Mine. We have planned it, but we have not started constructing a single building. Right? Manicaland as well, 2 campuses. One of the campuses is 8,000 hectares. We have not even started constructing a single building, but we have finished their master plans, and we are constructing them according to what we call University 5.0, which means they must teach, they must research, they must consult, they must have innovation hubs and their industrial parks. So they will be having 5 things, and all these things are open. I mean, we are already negotiating a lot, but I'm saying even the project that we are doing now, think bigger, and it's open, and it's a viable business. Students are a viable business, but we are saying it's not only students, because sometimes people talk about student accommodation. No! We want to construct completely new infrastructure, a new town. We want people to run away from Marondera and go to our university, to stay. And so forth and so forth. We want them to come and work in our industrial park in Gwanda. We have for education. And one of the issues which is very clear is that we want to run it on a very clean plate, no corruption. That basically means your money is safe. I don't need anything. I just need things to move forward. And my officials also have been told that we are in for a clean business. And this is how we are going to run it. Very clean. No corruption. Of course, sometimes the word occurs in the dictionary because it happens somewhere. But where it happens, we'll punish it severely. So we want to protect capital. We want to make sure that the business is viable. And this is the way we want to proceed. I thought that just as a beginning statement, it's very important to know how we are thinking. What is our mental anatomy? Our mental anatomy: provide the best education possible, using the best infrastructure possible. I was telling my officials that we are moving in 5 ways. The first way that we did was to make sure that the program infrastructure at our universities, program in terms of what they learn, is well structured. So we did a skills audit, and we also did a national qualifications framework. A national qualifications framework to ensure that the education is very predictable inside. We know how it can compare from university to university, but we also know how students migrate from one system to another. And in terms of the skills audit, we have been asked to start a skills development department in this ministry. That's output. The other one, the national qualifications framework, has now been concretized as statutory instrument 132, 133, and 137 of 2018. These statutory instruments make it compulsory for all programs to have bodies of knowledge, for all programs, for all students to have well-mapped pathways. So we want the education to be trustworthy. When it's trustworthy, it will attract a lot of people internally and outside of the region, making it more of a business case again. And we are saying when we provide the infrastructure, now the physical infrastructure, with all the business tenants that are accompanying it, and we have a well-structured statutory education system, a well-structured physical infrastructure, the combination is very good. The third one is to make sure that the financial services are well done by having good, well-structured loan facilities. And the next one is to make sure that we will go on a very aggressive move internationally when the infrastructure is okay, because we've already started on what we call Study in Zimbabwe program. We want this higher and tertiary education system to become an export industry. So it means if you have plowed your money into that institution, it will be a foreign currency earning institution. It will ensure that you get your money back. And we are very sure that we will do it. Because we are seeing already the success that we are having. So these are the things that we are moving around and doing it. Of course, I'm not talking about the science and technology development area, where we have done also a lot of work. You would know through the papers that we are going to do a coal to liquid fuel program. In this coal to liquid fuel program, we have attracted investment of 5.25 billion, sealed, signed on the 17th of May. And we are starting a fertilizer manufacturing plant from coal to fertilizer. We have already attracted 750 million. Done. So what we are saying is that if this one feeds the other one and the other one feeds the other one. So we are on the move. And I am happy that we are on this move together. And we are really serious. And we really want to move with you, and you are assured that whatever agreements that we are going through, you go through our unit, but it's us. The other one is just process. But otherwise, we are fully behind it, and we are backing it up, and we are really serious, and we are saying we are open for business, and clean business, no corruption. So don't be worried about that. So I thought I should just start by saying what is our mental anatomy when we do these things. So we are looking forward to that today. At the beginning, the first thing that we will do is to make sure that we have had our agreement, because at some point we're thinking, it is clumsy to go and start signing in front of the president. Yes. Yeah, because there are so many agreements, it becomes the president just put it to aside. We thought that we would do the background work here. After we have done the background work in terms of the signing and everything, when we go there, it's a matter of saying, these are the agreements, this is what it means, and then we are giving the certificates. The president is giving this.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, and you just tell us, for example, this is the project. We already know that Stratfield is doing this, isn't it? But then you say we are going to do that. Even if you have visuals, it would be nice to have visuals at the back.
Sure.
Just visuals to say this is what we are doing, this is what we are constructing. Royale development says we are doing this, that. And everybody says we are doing that at that place. Then we tell the HE that I will just say a few words, then we give him the room for the show. This is basically to show you why we are doing this. It's very important for public accountability. And it is very important that you see that the president is behind all this, and that it is the backing of the full authority of government and country. And nobody can say tomorrow I didn't know it. So it's basic public accountability. That's what we are doing.
Thank you, Minister. Before we now go into the details, I think I will invite you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure the vision is very clear. National vision, the ministry vision. May we give the minister a big hand. Thank you very much, Minister. I think what is coming out very clear that today we are like celebrating the implementation, isn't it? It's like a wedding. You don't go there and say, "Do you love me?" Start deciding no. Right. I hope it was crazy. Right. Royale, you come closer to me. The first program is to check how many have not signed, and then we administer the signing program.
Thank you very much, PS. We have two chairs, this one and that one, so that the representatives, one will come and sit here, and the other one will come and sit here. I will do a roll call, and my friend supposed to come inside. Yes, that's the end.
These things one needs to do because of due diligence. You sign and then you are not beneficial. What am I doing? You are I understand. 2 months.
In the interest of time, we'll just sign the last page.
No. You need a note to you need a note.
Last and Southwest.
with one thing. That's it.
Yes, the last page.
No, it's fine. They will exchange themselves.
University of Zimbabwe in South What are you saying? You have to see your hands.
The contract.
Okay.
Can you show us? Oh, yes. Just the rest. The cover is fine.
Oh, the cover, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
It's fast.
Flexion.
So what else would you ask?
Witness one. Witness one. But I've seen it. Use the other two copies, not initial pages.
we were blessed to put man away.
Do I keep one?
Oh, yeah.
From HIT.
The minister will give the marks for this face-to-face and bring up some outstanding issues. What you say?
Well, thank you very much. We are aware, we know HIT and MSU, they are on their way. Our intention is to, for all outstanding issues that are outstanding, without being specific, because I think we know what is outstanding, all outstanding must be done before 3 o'clock. So it means if there is anything outstanding, make sure it's discussed and finished before 2 o'clock. Oh, 2 o'clock. Oh, it's been tighter. 2 o'clock. So for things, for tying loose ends, just tie those loose ends before 2 o'clock. We want everything to be done by then, so that we are well organized. The other issue which I think is very important to say is that all these projects that we are doing are accorded national project status. It means a lot. It basically means that all the benefits that go with it are covered. Yes, you are here in the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education. We do the technical work. Do you know who presents it to Cabinet? Who was presenting all these projects to Cabinet? Is the Minister of Finance, with my backing, of course. It basically means that the Minister of Finance is well aware of all these things. We're just doing the technical job, but otherwise, we will, as soon as we are, after today, it's a matter of making sure that the letters of national project status come. They are come, but that's his job. It doesn't take us 2 minutes because this is cabinet decision. They were already made. It's not like somebody who started. Every project of yours went through the Ministry of Finance. So it's known. Every project that we are discussing here went through cabinet. So it's known. So it's just to make sure that we completely understand what is the process. So basically what cabinet is expecting are those signatures to be there. And quickly. All things that might be hanging should just be polished and get done. His Excellency expects that when we meet at 3, there is nothing which we say this one we have not yet done. It's only the other ones where we have not started the stage at which we were, that we are still discussing. There are many others that we are discussing, more investors from all over that we are discussing. But you are the first to make decisions very quickly, which I want to say thank you very much for running with the horses, because I think this is very important to be able to see the opportunity and grab it. I know at some point people say, oh, but why those ones? And I always say, where were you? because these things were public. Very public. We published it on the 24th of December. Some people played a wait and see attitude, and I always say, if you play a wait and see attitude, what you will see is some dust. Will be gone. We are so serious about it, and unlike what we call the PSIP projects, you know, we were having this PSIP project here, they come with 10,000, you build using one brick.
You're finished.
Then we wait. At some point, buildings at NAST were growing trees. You could almost eat marula then. So we abandoned that route. And we said, okay, let's use the route that works. And that also brings economy back online. Because construction brings the economy back online. About the reservations.
Yeah.
About the reservations, basically what we, in the afternoon, what we expect to happen is just very briefly, if you can finish in 5 minutes or before, nice, isn't it? We do not take too much time. Go straight to the project. We are doing this project. On this project, we are implementing 1, 2, 3. If there are visuals, nice. It would be nice to have visuals. It brings things real. For example, I know when you were coming, you were always coming with the visuals. What this, that. It's very nice. Then we know what is actually happening. And the issue is to talk about what we are implementing, not what we are thinking. In March, we were wishing, on 9 March, we were wishing that we wish to invite you to come and work with us on this. Now, today, we say we have signed. So, it's like we are saying we are doing this, that, and that place. Starting from that and that and that. So I think those are the contents of the speech, really. Yeah. To say what we are doing, rather than what we wish to do. No more wishes. We are now going to, in normal circumstances, what the president had wished to do was to go and ground break each and every project. But we discovered that there is no time. And because of that, he actually said, no, let everybody come to one place, and so forth. We wanted to make it very interesting. We wanted to be at every place, and where a signature is made there. But time did not permit, because tomorrow he has to be somewhere, and Friday has to be somewhere, and it's very busy. And so that's why we thought, let's just do it at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, you will position yourselves so that it's easy for you to be introduced to the HE at the very beginning, and then after the speech by His Excellency, you now come again to receive certificates. Initially, as the minister said, we thought you signed before, but that was going to take a long time. So that is going to be replaced by His Excellency awarding you the certificate of recognition for investment. That's the last part. But the way you are making presentations, in terms of protocol, try to be as brief as possible. The most important thing is for us to see you than the detail. The detail we already have it. So try to be as brief as possible. Even if you don't have those overhead, sometimes it take a lot of time changing. And and after that, that is it. I don't know whether you have any questions in under minister who is investment oriented. This is my first time. I find it very exciting to work under this atmosphere, and also to thank you that this is not a drill, but it's real. Just what we've been doing. You see, in the past, in some jurisdiction, the president has been called to officiate at functions where very little work has been done, and it has really been embarrassing, Minister.
Yeah.
But now we have avoided that by making it real than a drill here. So thank you very much. And also,
by the way, if we were celebrating MOUs, we could have celebrated 45 times.
yes.
But we said, guys, we are not going to go public until we have an agreement.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
So now we are invited for some refreshments, and in the process, if there are other things that you want to clarify to our lawyer, will be available. Then after that, we meet at the conference center, and let's be there by 2 o'clock. If you are earlier, it's even. Once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
And would like to call Liquid Telecoms to come forward, and as they come forward, this one I think is going to excite you. This one, you know, Bank ABC talked about being the money behind the projects that are coming up. But even behind the money, there must be a framework and a system that is powered by communication. And this is where Liquid Telecom come in.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Professor Dr. Amon Mugwira, all honorable ministers here present, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Sibanda, the permanent secretaries here present, and more specifically to my colleagues across that side, the Vice Chancellors who are here present, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I hope that all of you have connected your gadgets to the Liquid Telecom Education Internet. It works and is free. Your Excellency, never have we been this motivated. Never have we been this encouraged. Never have we felt such a strong sense of belonging to Zimbabwe like now. Your Excellency, this is all due to your sound, solid, and exemplary leadership, Your Excellency. Tese Mazvano, we're starting work at 7:30. Whenever I meet Professor Mugwira, I've never met him any other time than 7:30 or earlier. Yeah. It's all because of you. Thank you, Your Excellency. And then the last time I was here, today is different. The last time, I proposed a new mantra. Today, no. I've realized, why change a working system? Why change when it's working? So the mantra that I've got today is, Zimbabwe is open for business. I'm honored to represent today one of Zimbabwe's most illustrious, leading and fastest growing independent data, voice and IP providers, Liquid Telecom, which I'm proud to say is in the process of finalizing the interterrestrial high-speed optic fiber linking the rest of Africa down from the southernmost tip to the northern tip of Cairo. We have built the largest independent terrestrial fiber network across Africa. We are now implementing what our founder and chairman, Mr. Strive Masiwa's vision and message says. I would rather say it's a directive, because I think I was given that as a directive. That we are going to provide all universities, colleges, secondary schools in all the countries who operate as Liquid Telecom to have free Eduzones and Wi-Fi internet within 3 years. I would need more than a whole day to introduce Liquid, but I'm not going to do that. Liquid is a core member of the Econet Global Group, which Mr. Strive Masiwa heads, and we are proudly Zimbabwean. The initiative, which is being launched today by His Excellency, is only the beginning of a long-term commitment by Liquid Telecom Zimbabwe to provide internet service and connectivity to educational institutions, and we're starting this initiative with 10 universities under the ministry. Some we have already connected and some are work in progress. This initiative will provide free Wi-Fi access and use of internet to the students at their respective university campuses. The idea being to enable full and proper learning through digital platforms and innovative research. The project will see the creation of communication and learning zones, which are called Eduzones, within the campuses, and will ensure that the students have free, fast, efficient access to information, databases, internationally renowned research centers, and e-books. This is only, like I said before, this is only the beginning of the implementation of the MOU that we have signed with the ministry, for which further initiatives will be announced in due course and will be implemented in due course. And among these, and key to these, are innovation hubs at selected universities. I've always said, as Liquid, we believe in bringing solutions that are relevant to Zimbabweans, but at the same time are also in line with global trends. We have a flexible and dynamic business model which keeps us at the forefront of telecommunications innovation, and by listening to our end users, we ensure that our solutions are constantly evolving to meet their specific needs. Liquid Telecom is open for business. There are speakers that have spoken before me and speakers that will speak after me, and I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of money moving around, and I would like to declare that Liquid is coming after you to connect you. In conclusion, Your Excellency, the principal purpose of the Econet Global Group through Liquid Telecom is in its strong determination, and this is spurred and encouraged by your initiative and your leadership, to do our best to help our nation by bringing high-tech and effective digital communication to all the youth in learning institutions so that they do not fall behind the rest of the world in this regard. Your Excellency, I thank you for your leadership. Minister, I thank you for your enthusiasm, for your direct energy that is being infused into us as well. Thank you.
Well, that was short. The speech. I'm talking about the speech. Fighting until he's mentioned Elton John. I'm sure you'll agree that the world of music has since moved on from the likes of Sir Elton John. So we will be aspiring perhaps for a Beyonce, a Jay-Z, a Rihanna, Jigaramba, Sheromkanya Chayano Hitata. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a warm round of applause. These are exciting times in Zimbabwe, and very exciting times at the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development. Just painting a picture of not what can be, but what will be in the few years to come. Like Professor Dr. Eamon Murubira said and declared just a couple of weeks ago at this very podium, this is not a drill, this is real.
Still to talk about the infrastructural development program, I'd like to call upon Struckfin Investments to give us a few remarks. Give them a hand.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, President Didi Mnangagwa, ministers, and all guests. Good afternoon to you all. Struckfin Investment, it's a local Zimbabwean company backed by an Israeli consortium. Struckfin Investment took a position to invest in the tourism industry in Zimbabwe, tourism and accommodation. We partnered with the University of Zimbabwe recently on a very nice piece of land. So I'll move it up fast. Okay, everybody know this doesn't work. Okay, now it's working. First of all, I'm originally from Israel, and I'm doing business in Zimbabwe in the past 20 years. I'm driving many years on Churchill Avenue, and I always look at this piece of land, and I said, this is an unpolished diamond. And we have decided now, together with the UZ, to actually convert this unpolished diamond into a project that will make money for the university and for the investor. I will go. It doesn't move. One back. I will go straight to the details. You don't want to waste time. We have only 5 minutes. Basically, as you see on the presentation, we have the second extension where you see we design a very big roundabout to ease the traffic. Then you will see 2 lines or 2 strips. This will be an open shopping mall that actually will lead the people into the hotel. On this mixed project, there is hotel, there is office block, there is conference and convention center to accommodate 1,500 people. There is apartment, luxury apartment. The fact that we put everything in a mixed use gives a high value to the project. This kind of office block will attract companies like Microsoft and Intel and all the newcomers that will see Zimbabwe coming up. They will come to Zimbabwe and they would like to see themselves placed in this position, in these offices. The location is very good access to the airport, very good access to the city, very good access straight into the suburb. The position is fantastic. Just to give you some more figures and details. First of all, this is just a 3D dimension. You will see 3 high towers. One will be the hotel, one will be the resident, one will be the office block. And you know, when you come to a country and when you see the tower of the construction, you understand there is business. We will be the first one to put the tower in Harare, and this will be the opening shop for the economy. This actually will attract all investors to come. We passed the money. The money is about, the investment is about $250 million US. And the project is made up from 35,000 square meters of hotel, apartment, 80,000 square meters, offices, 16,000 square meters, shopping arcade, the big shopping arcade that actually will lead people into the project, about 4,000 square meters. I forgot to mention that on the back of the project, we are going to build an open amphitheater to accommodate 15,000 people. This will allow Zimbabwe to bring international figures such as Elton John, or you name it. It will bring a lot of I want to take this opportunity to say that I was very impressed from the cooperation with the university and the ministry. You know, everything was moved very smoothly, very fast. It's something new to us, and we thank you for this one. And thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Mnangagwa, a Minister of State for Provincial Affairs, Honorable William Chukukwa, a Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Dr. Murira, Honorable Ministers here present, Chief Secretary to the Office of the President and Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries here present, Vice Chancellors of the various universities and the leadership thereof, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As you will already have picked up, we are the Mali people. I listened very attentively. I listened very attentively to the previous speakers, and obviously there's a lot of brick and mortar that needs to be dealt with. But behind all that, there is always funding that is required, and that is where we come in. Bank ABC is proud to be have been in a position where we have concluded an infrastructure development partnership with the National University of Science and Technology under the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development. Now, we believe that together we can go a long way and make a difference. Education is something that Bank ABC has always held dear. I think some of you might be aware that we have taken leadership in the design of banking products for schools, specifically in the junior schools. Now, in partnering with NAST, we took the view that we needed to take this initiative to the next level through working with institutions of higher learning. The bank, and indeed all entities that operate in Zimbabwe, have benefited from the output of many of the institutions of higher learning in Zimbabwe. As part of our involvement in capacity building, we have a program that we are very proud of. Every year, we draw fresh graduates from universities and we take them through an accelerated leadership training program at our institutions. And many of these graduates have risen to top levels and leadership roles. To quote Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. We believe that educating our people is the greatest investment in supporting economic growth. Zimbabwe has great institutions, and we do realize that over time, infrastructure development has not kept pace with increasing enrollment as well as fast technological advancements. We are happy to be part of the journey of facilitating the capacitation of our institutions and building the future of our country. Our children need not look beyond our borders if our institutions are equipped not only to match but to surpass what is offered in developed economies. We are grateful to the Ministry and the leadership of the National University of Science and Technology for affording us the opportunity to play a role in realizing the goals of infrastructure development. Bank ABC has taken on the role of structuring, packaging, and ensuring that the infrastructure development finance for the projects that NAST wishes to accomplish are effectively executed. The projects that under consideration include, but are not limited to, the following. There will be a medical school, a library, an ITC center, a campus service center, and a sports complex. Clearly, these will require significant funding, but that is okay, because what that does is that it puts the country well on the road to leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. That makes us at Bank ABC proud. Today, we're talking about NAST, but there's nothing that says, as our Honorable Minister said earlier today, there's nothing that says tomorrow it cannot be MSU, Chinoi, Mira, or UZ that we are dealing with in partnering to fund these projects. I thank you.
Thank you very much to Bank ABC, and thank you for quietly going about your business, because we've seen countless projects at various schools, and as you said quite rightly, at primary and secondary schools which were financed by Bank ABC. I can't tell you how many buses I've seen on the road that they've got that sticker that's written financed by Bank ABC, and we're very proud here.
And so they find everything they need in that particular environment. And we must commend Southwest Engineering Private Limited for this vision and, of course, the effort that they've put forward in partnering with the ministry to make sure that this just doesn't become a dream for Africans, that it happens even here in Zimbabwe. Next up, would like to call upon a representative of Bank ABC.
We're taking care of our students. It now gives us great pleasure to call upon a representative of Southwest Engineering Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a big round of applause.
Afternoon to you all. Director, Program Director, Your Excellency, Comrade ED, President ED Mnangagwa, our Minister, Honorable Professor Dr. Murira, all protocols observed. My name is Boni Muvevi. I'm from Southwest Group. I'm the CEO of Southwest Group, and I'm here to represent Southwest. I'm going to take a slight different stance from my previous presenter, just to take you through some of the work, some of the images of what we have signed and what we are looking at Southwest. At Southwest, we feel very positive in terms of the economic climate. We have been to the conferences that have been hosted by the ministry. The first time His Excellency came to Pretoria, we heeded the call, where he called on all Zimbabweans to come forward, to be able to come up with innovative structures that we can be able to implement within Zimbabwe. Southwest has a capacity to be able to develop turnkey projects, and we heeded the call for us to come through and have gone on a tour of all state universities for us to be able to come up with what we're going to propose today. We met with all VCs, and to date we can say that we've advanced with the University of Zimbabwe through VC Professor Nyagura, with Chinoi University of Technology, with Professor Simbi, and NAST led by Professor Lolo. Southwest came up with a program where we've seen and we're going to try and roll out in different universities, starting with University of Zimbabwe, and to vary in scale. What we have come up with is a Unicity, which is an integrated development that looks at bringing together student infrastructure so that we can modernize the infrastructure within Zimbabwe. The concept that we've come up with, and I think our interactions with Professor Nyagura, and also with the Minister, Honorable Minister, we tried to capture the vision and the view that we were presented at the conference and some of the interactions. I'll take you through what we believe and what we see in terms of what we're going to develop. A city that allows for interaction for the student community and the surrounding community of Mount Pleasant, and this is in particular to UZ. We've also proposed the same to NAST, where there is other developments in a particular site. I'll skip through. I know I've got 5 minutes. So just to give you, in terms of planning, part of this also includes other student infrastructure that are not necessarily part of the city, but as you can see, some of the student accommodation right at the top there. So there's a shopping center that is planned, if I can just, a shopping mall, a specialized hospital, medical offices and suites, hotel. I think there's always this notion of hotel tourism, offices, residential developments that also includes student accommodation, visiting lecturers and lecturers, staff accommodation. We're looking at sustainable city that should be able to have its own energy plan that does not rely, Your Excellency, in putting pressure on the grid. We're looking at a modern way of planning in terms of traffic circulation that allows for the impact of traffic that will come within the area that can be able to accommodate. The environment has to be green and smart if we're going to align ourselves with the current thinking in project development across the world. We're also looking at a smart city that's able to align, as I said, to the rest of us. So some of the images, I'll carry on. This will be medical suites that we're looking at, and offices, specialized hospital within the same space, and all these developments have to interact and talk to each other. That's the residential component. And lastly, the shopping mall at the end. So this infrastructure will assist, one, to boost the income of the university so that one can be able to plow some of the gains from such infrastructure to better use in terms of what the requirements of the university. This infrastructure will be transferred to the university after a period where through a build, own, operate transfer. This infrastructure also creates an environment that allows for learning for students in a proper modernized environment. That was UZ. And our plan is to look at each university and be able to plan appropriate infrastructure. As I said, we've also signed with Chinhoyi, and for Chinhoyi, it's more on student accommodation and energy. Just to take you through some of the images. Sorry, I'm too fast there. In terms of student accommodation, we've signed with them. And with NAST, we're also looking at an academic hospital and associated facilities. So my last slide, which talks to energy, we're looking at all state universities in terms of energy plans from energy efficiency right through to alternative energy, which is in a holistic manner. So these are some of the images that we thought we'd share. I know we have 5 minutes to present to you. Your Excellency, this is the last slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Southwest Engineering Private Limited for that presentation, as the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry has done. And now we're going to go into a series of presentation by the...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, President Edie Mnangagwa, Honorable Professor Murira, our line Minister, Minister Sisi Mshowe here present, Minister Chikukwa, we are in your province, Chief Secretary Dr. Sibanda, Dr. Permanent Secretary, I won't try to pronounce your name in case I crucify it. Our VCs here present, and please are all protocols observed. I count it a singular honor this day, Your Excellency, to be able to stand as the first of investors to speak and address this august gathering, because where we are today is a place where we've been working to get to for many, many years. Over the past few months, I've had the occasion to speak where you've been, Your Excellency, and I've narrated to you the nightmares we have faced as investors to be allowed to invest in institutions of higher learning. But I'm pleased and proud to be able to say that today we are here with signed agreements because the environment you have created has enabled us to invest. It bears saying that after being kicked out of former ministers' offices 5-7 times for trying to invest, we now have a minister, Your Excellency, who seems to like calling me at 10 every night to ask me how far have you gone today. That's how driven our line minister is. He does not rest, and he does not allow the rest of us to rest, because he keeps pushing for progress. That's how, Your Excellency, you build a nation. Thank you for that good leadership. I'm a John Maxwell student. John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on the basis of leadership. The rise we are experiencing in this nation is clearly because of good leadership, and for that we salute you. Our group, Your Excellency, is focused on infrastructure. If it is anything that can be built, if it is a dam, if it is a building, if it is water solutions, if it is bridges, roads, we build them. So our role in this event today is to enunciate our participation in various universities, most of which are represented here by the VCs, in terms of what we have undertaken to deliver in terms of infrastructure and specifically students' accommodation. With the difficulties being experienced by the public sector investment program, we have ourselves and our partners, whether they are local or multinational partners, risen to the challenge and the quest that says, how can we deliver infrastructure in our institutions of higher learning? Accordingly, Your Excellency, I'm proud to announce that our group has agreed to support various universities that are here, for example, with the completion of several buildings that have not been completed because of the situation in the PSIP. Accordingly, our group is investing $400 million across the nation to complete projects that were left over from the PSIP. I had the funny occasion to interact with one institution just 2 days ago, which told us that one project, which I think may be a library or something, all they managed to do was to put up 2 pillars, and that's all there is. We are here to tell you proudly that we will finish those buildings. On the students' accommodation front, Your Excellency, we have agreed, and today we signed agreements capturing our commitment to invest $600 million in various student accommodations across 6 universities. Accordingly, we can undertake that we will be able to deliver no less than 40,000 beds for students across the nation. Our consortium, made up of local and foreign investors, finds it very good that we are able to make these commitments because the environment permits it. I would like to encourage fellow investors who are here, and particularly those who are still waiting to see what happens. Like our minister likes to say, by the time you finish watching, you will only observe dust because we will have gone. Accordingly, we encourage that fellow industrialists take up this challenge to invest in this great nation and in these great spaces that have traditionally been considered as social infrastructure, which does not normally make money. Well, it's not just about money, it's about legacy, it's about impact, it's also about doing the right thing. Accordingly, ladies and gentlemen, and Your Excellency especially, consider this our gratitude for the great leadership we see in you. I thank you.
Dr. Ned Nedziwe of Royal Development, thank you so much for those words, and I wish I could give you some comfort and say, Professor Dr. Emil Murwira, I won't be calling you at 10 p.m. anymore, but sadly, it's going to be even later.
I'm sure you'll smile, Professor, that I can pronounce your name correctly. Levi, better Levi. I'm sure Ndora Majaira's but once
Southwest Group. Thank you very much. Bank ABC. Liquid Telecom, Strucfield Investments, Fund Capital Proprietary Limited and DevTech Proprietary Limited. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. They will be given time to explain further their investments. Mr. MC, these are the objectives of our gathering today. I thank you, Excellency.
I'm sure we can do a lot better than that. Let's give a warm round of applause to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Dr. Desire Mutize Sibanda. A man who was happy that Barry Manandi was able to pronounce his name properly. And there was emphasis on that, because I'm sure you've been called Desire 1 or 2 times. It reminds me of
Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, and that is Dr. Desire Mutize Sibanda.
The President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Mnangagwa, the Honorable Minister of Provincial Affairs for Harare Metropolitan Province, Comrade M. Chikukwa, and thank you very much for welcoming us without visas. The Honorable Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Professor Murwira, Honorable Showe, Minister for National Scholarships, President's Office, all ministers present here, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. M.J.M. Sibanda, Deputy Chief Secretaries here present, Vice Chancellors of universities, heads of government departments and agencies, principals of colleges, development partners, captains of industry and commerce, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students. I thought you were going to give a big hand for students. Thank you very much. I'm extremely delighted to welcome you, Your Excellency, to this grand official launch of the Ministry's infrastructure and student loan financing facilities, which we are implementing in the context of the new dispensation inaugural 100-day plans and the achievement of Vision 20 and inclusive education, which we are pursuing. The facilities that we are launching today are crafted in a manner which gives solutions to one of the 13 overarching policy priority areas given to the Ministry at the inception of the new dispensation, which can be summarized as follows: facilitating learning environment through provision of adequate infrastructure and student access to financial resources. Your Excellency, this launch comes hard on the heels of landmark events in the Ministry, and I'm just going to mention 3 of them. Firstly, the first ever meeting between Your Excellency and Vice Chancellors or Principals held on the 9th of January 2018 in this hall. The second one was the Investment Promotion Conference for Higher and Tertiary Education held on the 9th of March 2018. And thirdly, the National Student Convention held on the 5th of July 2018. At these platforms, Your Excellency, you called upon institutions of learning to strive to improve learning conditions for students through availing decent and adequate accommodation. At the same platform, you urged the creation of partnerships between government and local and international private sector FDI in our education transformation agenda. Your Excellency, on the 9th of March 2018, we were scouting for potential investors to partner the Ministry in addressing infrastructure and student financing challenges. At that conference, a number of investors were presented, but today we are happy to showcase 7 investors with the completed agreements duly signed and hitting the ground running. I am therefore glad that your stewardship, these challenges are being addressed in a practical way, and that's why I gathered today. Your Excellency, your presence today bears ample testimony to your unflinching commitment to modernization, as was said in our prayer, and transformation of higher education. The main aim of today's gathering is to unveil the partnership arrangements between government and the local private sector and the international private sector foreign direct investment to address infrastructure development and student loan financing challenges prevailing at the country's universities and colleges, and to truly believe that Zimbabwe is open for business and Zimbabwe is open for infrastructure and student business. The specific objectives of this historic launch are to promote student loan financing facilities, promote infrastructure development, promote student access to ICT, laptops, tablets, and computers. 4, to promote internet connectivity in institutions of higher learning. This is what has been achieved and signed. And finally, to showcase and celebrate local and international partnership agreements that have been signed in the area of infrastructure and student loan financing
facilities. At this juncture, let me brief Your Excellency introduce the investors who have signed the agreements with the ministry, with the government of Zimbabwe to participate in infrastructure development and student financing. We are here to celebrate, not to scout for investment, because they've already signed and some are already working on the investments which they've agreed upon. And I'll ask them to stand, and we welcome them in a very special way. They represent a spectrum of local and international investors. Royale Developments, can you stand a big?
Because you need to test the pulse for you to see whether the heart is fine. So Harare, those who are Hararians, we are now the pulse of the nation. Once again, I welcome you. May God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can do a lot better than that. A big round of applause for the Honorable Minister Miriam Chukukwa. And in our introduction,
to provide a conducive atmosphere for study as well as attract international students to the country. The Bible says in Genesis 11 verse 18, they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bend them thoroughly." And they used bricks for stone and they used tar for mortar. In the same vein, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development and its partners are today building a foundation for our nation's economic development. Let us all uphold this magnificent program as we rebuild our economy in the new dispensation. And also, I would want to take this opportunity to advise those who don't know now that Harare, I know other people used to say Harare, maybe it's, thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade E.T. Mnangagwa, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Infrastructure Projects, Honorable Minister, Professor Dr. Murbira, Honorable Minister of Presidential and National Scholarships, Honorable Mshowe, and other Honorable Ministers here present, Infrastructure Development Partners here present, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. M.J.M. Sibanda, Permanent Secretary for the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Infrastructure Projects, Dr. D.M. Sibanda, and other secretaries here. Vice Chancellors here present, principals here present, senior government officials, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. On behalf of my office, Harare Metropolitan Province, and indeed my own behalf, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, as well as everyone here to this very special occasion, the launch of the Infrastructure Development and Students' Loans Financing Facilities here in Harare Metropolitan Province. Your Excellency, today's launch of key 100-day programs entails higher and tertiary education, science and technology infrastructure projects, educational loan financing system, and information and communication technologies, ICT, and PP facilities. This event is significant in the history of tertiary education in Zimbabwe. As we launch the long-awaited for student loan financing facility, Your Excellency, I am aware that the student loan financing facility will bring about the much-needed relief for many parents who are struggling to pay fees for their children in institutions of higher learning. Furthermore, disadvantaged and vulnerable students will now have an opportunity to attend world-class tertiary institutions while on flexible and affordable loans under a pay-as-you-learn concept. As you may be aware, Harare Metropolitan Province has been made the ICT hub of the nation, and I hope that my province will be among the biggest beneficiaries of the program, as our province positions itself to become an information and technology hub under the mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business. Furthermore,
that is set to transform our education sector.
They say education is a wonderful thing, but education just for the mere purposes of education becomes egotistical. But when it is applied and becomes practical, it becomes transformational. And that is why we are here this afternoon. We were here 2 weeks ago, again celebrating the achievements and some of the strides that are being made by the ministry. But again, we meet to showcase again the beauty of partnership between the corporate world as well as government. So we want to take this opportunity to thank you all for gracing this occasion, but more than that, to thank His Excellency for finding the time to come and be with us at the ministry and just to know and of course learn about some of the things that we are doing. At this moment in time, I would like to invite forward Honorable Minister Miriam Chikukwa. If you could just come and welcome us. Hapana anopinda mudunu hasina kudarika kwa mambo. Saka tatizo tikudai.
Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, would like to thank you for life and for the many blessings that you have given each one of us here and the institutions that we represent. Thank you for the leadership of this country and for the peace and order that we continue to enjoy, especially as we move towards elections. We are also grateful that you have given our leader, His Excellency, President Edim Mnangagwa, wisdom and vision to modernize and industrialize this economy. We have already seen some of the work done in a short time and the frameworks developed to move the modernization and in the industrialization agenda forward. Today, Father, we launch the infrastructure projects, edge loan financing system, and ICT facilities. Bless our President, bless this occasion, bless the cooperating partners, bless all stakeholders. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. You may go ahead and take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, as we have received our VVIP and guest of honor, I would ask us all to please stand, those who aren't yet, for the singing of the Zimbabwean national anthem. And to help us in that, help me welcome the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services Band.
May we remain standing as we receive the Acting Vice Chancellor of the Solusi.
Such names would certainly not be misnomers, as they would be a true reflection of the times. Ladies and gentlemen, this certainly deserves a big applause from all of us.
On behalf of the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development family, we would like to thank you for sparing your time to be with us. Thank you very much.
Not as directed by Mike Madhuka, by the ministry. And so that is exciting. So you are very fit. We would like to ask you to remain standing as we go into the next part of our segment. One of our partners, and that is DevTech Private Limited, has donated 40 computers to your government. We can do a lot better than that. And these computers, Your Excellency, are Cassie flavor. Let's give him a round of applause. Another big thank you to Bank ABC, and as you can tell, he got the memo. Today was Blue Suit Day. So I want to commend you for your excellence in choice and taste. Let's give him a round of applause. We would also like to show our appreciation and gratitude to Fundi Capital Proprietary Limited from Mozambique, South Africa, Zimbabwe. I was going to say take the short route, but that.
upon the money people, representative from Bank ABC. Representative of Royale Developments. The one who's kept up late at night by calls from Professor Eduzone.
Another round of applause for Royal Developments. Next up, we'd like to call upon Proprietary Limited, our guest from Rwanda, the Rwanda Express.
I went to Rwanda, addressed them in Kigali. The following week we came home.
In the true spirit.
Let's give Southwest Engineering Private Limited a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Limited.
We call upon a representative of, yes, you give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Into three broad categories: the infrastructure projects facility, student loan facility, and Eduzone and ICT facility. I'm extremely happy that our private sector has responded in the manner they have done. This afternoon alone, our private sector has committed 1.5 billion just this afternoon to infrastructure development. This joint launch for the three infrastructure facilities is a culmination of the success of my government's vision to become a middle-income economy. The student loan facility will provide flexible and affordable loans to students under a pay-as-you-learn concept. Students will be provided with affordable loans to fund their tuition fees, accommodation, educational equipment and materials, not leisure. The facility will be available to all institutions of higher and tertiary education in Zimbabwe. Furthermore, the higher and tertiary education infrastructure facility will provide student and lecturer accommodation, innovation, research and learning facilities, campus health facilities, and the university town facilities. The Eduzone's Information Communication Technology Facility will also provide a country-wide free and affordable internet access to institutions of higher learning and tertiary education. Internet, dedicated platforms for research, innovation, and digital learning, affordable laptops, and other ICT devices open to all students and the staff members. So now, every student, every institution of learning will have a laptop. Don't sell the laptop to buy cigarettes.
In conclusion, I'm confident that collectively we can modernize and transform our higher and tertiary education sector to meet the learning needs of our children and those of future generations. We want Zimbabwe to leapfrog and catch up with the race of developing and developed countries. But we as Zimbabweans, we are a committed
of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, and Chancellor of all state universities. This is Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Your Excellency, sir.
Be seated. Our two directors of ceremonies, the Minister of State for Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Miriam Chikukwa, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Muira, other cabinet ministers who may be here, members of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development, the Chief Secretary to the President Cabinet, Dr. Mishek Spanda, the Permanent Secretary, the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Spanda, other senior government officials who are present, vice chancellors of universities who are here, Research Council Zimbabwe Executive Director, Mrs. Muzite, heads of institutions of higher learning, development partners, captains of industry and commerce, students, representatives here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It is my singular honor and privilege to have been invited to launch the higher and tertiary education infrastructure facilities. This event is a follow-up to the Infrastructure Investment Conference held in March this year, which brought together local and foreign investors to invest into the higher and tertiary education sector. It is pleasing to note that deals and investment agreements which were signed as a result of that initiative are now at various stages of implementation. In line with our Vision 2030, we have set targets that include full access to high quality education from early childhood to secondary schooling, equitable access to affordable technical, vocational and tertiary education, and more investments in education facilities to improve the learning environment for our learners. The achievement of these prime developmental aspects require the continued and expanded commitment of resources, the encouragement of innovation and technology, as well as an appropriately motivated leadership at all levels of the education sector. In the same vein, this requires an aggressive private sector which partners with government to achieve a complete transformation of the higher and tertiary education sector to meet the needs of our industry and commerce. My government will continue to invite mutually beneficial partnerships with the private sector and other developmental partners under different investment models. This is essential to enhance the impact and effectiveness of government resources, encourage innovation in education, efficiency, and the expansion of physical educational infrastructure. This will further extend access and parity to educational services to a broader section of our population throughout our beloved Zimbabwe. To that end, my administration remains committed to create a conducive learning environment at all our institutions and will consider putting in place various incentives for PPPs to stimulate more investments in infrastructure development. We are optimistic that once in place, these will hasten the upgrading and modernization of learning institutions to global standards. It is imperative to understand that there is no country that can grow its economy, modernize and industrialize without investing in human capital. Higher and tertiary education is thus critical to socio-economic transformation path of any developing nation. Technology, new skills and competencies are equally paramount to our productive efficiencies, industrial development, and performance in today's global trade. In this regard, my government will continuously strive to provide a dynamic system for human capital development which boosts and promotes our potential to value and beneficiate our natural resources. I therefore urge all sectors to fully utilize the innovation incubation hubs which government has set up in various institutions of higher learning to conduct research and development, come up with new innovations and inventions for eventual production and commercialization of such products. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as government, we seek to promote equity, equality, and empowerment of the youths, women, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups through increased access and affordable education and training. However, in our quest to provide better learning environment and conditions, learners must also play their part. Let us all be cognizant of the fact that institutions of higher learning are going concerns which must serve current learners' needs and those of the future generations. To that end, heads of our higher and tertiary institutions are urged to develop robust, innovative, and responsive strategies to develop their institutions in line with the fulfillment of our vision to become a middle-income economy by 2030, 12 years from now. We equally challenge them to play a critical role in the development of the envisaged new provincial economies in our provinces. We are now going to have each province prioritizing resources in that province in order to develop that province. There is no province which has no economy. All provinces have economy. What is required are brains of the leadership in those provinces to promote and prioritize the development of their respective provinces, and they must compete. Those who will excel will continue in leadership. The other sentence you can construct yourself. There is need to capitalize on the comparative advantage of resource endowments in the respective provinces. It is important to adequately assess project affordability in order to plan on a long-term basis, create certainty, and yield higher quality education infrastructure and services in your areas. Today's launch is a clear manifestation of the mantra that Zimbabwe is open for business. We have put behind us an environment where we say them and us, the private sector and the government. No, I say no. We are all one. Let us together develop, modernize, industrialize our country. The higher...
Our guest of honor was born on 15 September 1942 in Shaban. He is a lawyer, and I've always said he's a lawyer, and naturally he's very logical. And naturally, he's a very good leader. I think you can testify to that through the results. Don't just look at him, just look at the results. Then you ask later who did it. Then you say E.T. I think that's the most important thing. Because sometimes when you look, you might have other ideas. Just look at the results. We have to be ourselves to be able to interact. If we are like someone else, then why would someone else interact with us when he's already himself or herself? We interact because we have something to share. You have shown us that Zimbabwe is full of opportunity, and it's that opportunity that we will share with our colleagues in the country and outside. You have also encouraged us to build this country brick by brick, stone by stone. We believe we can do this by providing the kind of education that we all want and the kind of environment to provide that education. And we have said we will move that education based on the opportunities that we have with the philosophy of heritage-based education. That basically means we prosper with what we have in our environment first so that we can trade it with the outside world. I think this is a very basic thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the next facet of our program, we would like to take in a bit of entertainment, and we're proud to say that we are joined this afternoon by the Masvingo Teachers College Choir, and they're going to give us a piece of work. They're going to come forward and present to us. They are the splendid teachers. I feel like I'm in Casablanca. Where's Shira? Take it away. Ecosystem that's being created. I can see students creating an ecosystem to develop a system to block SMSs going to their parents' phones of their transactions. That's going to be software development. Thank you very much.
But all this, all that is happening really, whilst the presentations are being made to His Excellency, but they're for the benefits of our students. Now, do we have any students in the house? And you should be sounding a lot more excited. Kana uti mangabisa uti ndidzike pa level yenyu andidzika. Ndaimbove oyupa. Ndikati mayupa muriko ere.
Honorable Minister of Tertiary and Higher Education, Science and Technology Development, Professor Mulirwa, all honorable ministers, Mr. Permanent Secretary, Dr. Desiree Ash Sibanda, the Vice Chancellors, and distinguished students. Do we have students in here? It's nice to hear your voices, because we've been addressing a lot of issues, but you've been a bit quiet. Well, I want to tell you, you've heard the money people around, you've heard the connectivity people around, but we are the fun guys, we are the gadget people. So instead of giving you an introduction on the making of laptops and the reason why you should have laptops, I'll go straight to the issue and how we, together with the ministry, are planning to address it. We know that all schools and universities require every student to own a laptop for learning purposes. Unfortunately, often the burden has been proven to be hard to bear for the students and their parents due to economic constraints. And I guess many of you here have parents having to sacrifice to buy computers at a very high price at once, and the objective is to get you the opportunities to buy them over a certain period of time, which is 1 or 2 years, and at a very affordable price. I was having a discussion with a friend, and the whole point is to ensure that one day we'll have a scenario where a student based in Kanyemba can come up with a thesis of an agri-tourism with more data and more accurate figures and information than the student based in Iraq. So before finishing, I would like to thank you, Mr. President. I remember I'm from Rwanda. DevTech is based in Rwanda. I remember you telling us Zimbabwe is open for business. And I'm here to certify that I'm glad to say Zimbabwe is, and I shall be your best ambassador back home. I would also like to thank Honorable Minister, as well as the Permanent Secretary, for your continued support and your endless pushing to get the job done. Thank you very much.
Sure, we can do a lot better than that for our guests from Central Africa, from the nation of Rwanda. representing DaveTech Proprietary Limited. Thank you so much for your presentation. You did promise that it was not long, and you proved true to your word. But however, I would like to echo did anyone watch Carte Blanche this past Sunday? No one? You don't know what Carte Blanche is? Okay, it's a program on Mnet. I'd just like to echo what the president said about Rwanda. That yes, we learn from you at the moment as we are open for business, but beware, in a few years, we would have overtaken you. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we would like to call upon a representative of Fundi Capital Proprietary Limited, who are going to take us through the next phase of our presentation as we talk about the launch of the higher and tertiary education loan financing system.
Thank you very much, Director of the program. I would like to say grace and peace to the Chancellor of all universities, His Excellency President and Comrade Edie Mnangagwa. And thank you very much for inviting us to come to this place to give this presentation for the third, if not the fourth time. And all protocol observed on everybody else that I have not mentioned by name. Thank you. We are here as Fundi. Fundi is an organization that is in South Africa that is linked to an organization that we have established many years ago here in Zimbabwe. It's called Eduzone. So we've always believed in Zimbabwe for many, many years, hence we started Eduzone. And today, happening where we're coming to launch this, which we're launching today, is something that we've always believed Zimbabwe will get to. And it is the time, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We are all going to rejoice in it, definitely, going forward. Now, we've signed an agreement with the Republic of Zimbabwe, represented by the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science, Technology and Development, to come in and fund students on loan basis. We actually run a system where we have an organization, Edulone Private, which is here in Zimbabwe. We currently do loans, which we give to students. We give them over a period of time. As my colleague who just spoke now has spoken about laptops that can be funded over a period of time, it's one of the technicalities that we actually bring into the whole party. We become then the glue in between. If you look at everybody else that has spoken here, what we do in South Africa, which we're going to bring into Zimbabwe, into Edulone, includes stuff like the technology that we've developed in where we actually have a collection mechanism that helps the people that create the accommodation for students, because students, there's payments that have to come through, but then there's an engine that sits behind it, which we have actually created, that actually doesn't even go to your visas and all the other areas where you get charged significant amounts. So we've got that engine, we put it through, the accommodation people get to benefit from it, and the people that do laptops, they benefit from it, and then obviously, and everybody else that actually fund education. So the students are the biggest beneficiaries in everything that we do. One of the things that we then have, we've got a fantastic card which we gave to the president the last time we were here to show you that we have a card where we can we'll create pockets that we've created on the cards where accommodation money gets put in there and so on and so on. So the laptop money, the fees money, etc., and students cannot move money around. If they want the cash, they go into the cash pocket and they use it. So we've got that technology that we're actually bringing into Zimbabwe, and students will benefit from it. And the parents who actually are driving the students to go to school and they're paying for the students to go to school will have full control over what happens to the money that is given to the students to go and use at school. Now, what we're facilitating in this case is, from the loan point of view, we'll facilitate initially about $10 million,
and then and over and above the 10 million, it then brings about a whole host of hundreds of millions of dollars that are around the whole technology that we've put together. When we partner with the different merchants, like your accommodation and so on, and your Pick and Pays and your ShopRites, and going forward. So it will be easier for students to go out and actually get what they want, whenever they want. They don't need to phone home to say, I need so much, or I have run out of money. They will all know from their phones, and so will the parents know from their own phones. I must say thank you very much from the ministry and the president for the vision that you provided in bringing this together. I have learned as well that in the Bible it says, where there is no vision, people perish. So you have created a brilliant vision in terms of putting all the different institutions or the ministries together, particularly this one, which is education. Your vision is actually going to go a long way in creating good people for Zimbabwe, and particularly good people for the world. Thank you very much, Comrade Mnangagwa, for everything. Yes,
And continue with the ICT facility, allow me to call upon DevTech for their presentation.
To thank you, Your Excellency, for gracing this occasion and being with us as we launch these 3 exciting initiatives that are going to take education.
Dr. Desire Utize Sibanda and the officials from the ministry for a job well done. I believe that they deserve an applause. This joint launch has been made possible by the participation of partners from the private and public sectors in these win-win joint ventures in the quest for the development of quality human capital for the sustainable development of our country. I would like to acknowledge those present here, namely Royal Development, Bank ABC, Stratfin Investments, Liquid Telecoms, and Liquid Telecoms, we thank you most profusely for free Wi-Fi. I believe that institutions will never be the same again. I believe that they deserve an applause. We want to thank Southwest Engineering, Fundi, DevTech. We all have had the exciting plans that you have in the areas of infrastructure development, in the setting up of ICT platforms, and in the provision of flexible funding opportunities for our students. Allow me, Your Excellence, ladies and gentlemen, to extend our heartfelt thanks to all the organizations represented here for their honorable gestures. These are indeed exciting times for all of us. Once again, Your Excellence, I wish to thank you and everyone who has graced this occasion. I wish you all a safe return to your various destinations. May God bless you all. I thank you.
Thank you very much to Professor E. Mwenje, the chairperson of the ZUVCA, for that vote of thanks.